Have you ever felt lonely, even when you're surrounded by people? Not alone, lonely. There's a difference. Maybe you've been at a family gathering, a birthday party, or scrolling through social media where everyone seems to be living their best life. People are laughing, friends are posting selfies, couples are posting vacation photos, and somehow you still feel disconnected, like you're watching life happen from behind a glass wall. If that sounds familiar, you're definitely not the only one, because loneliness isn't simply about being physically alone. It's a psychological experience. And today, we're diving into the fascinating psychology of loneliness, why it happens, what it does to our brains, and why sometimes the people who look happiest can secretly feel the loneliest. Let's get into it. Most people think loneliness means having no friends, but psychology says something different. Loneliness happens when there's a gap between the connections you want and the connections you actually have. Think about it like hunger. You can be standing inside a supermarket full of food and still be hungry if you haven't eaten. Similarly, you can be surrounded by people and still feel lonely if you don't feel truly connected to them. That's why some people enjoy spending time alone and feel perfectly happy. Meanwhile, others can spend an entire day with people and still feel emotionally isolated. Your brain doesn't count people. It counts meaningful connections. Now here's where things get interesting. Scientists have discovered that loneliness isn't just an emotion. It's actually a survival mechanism. Thousands of years ago, humans depended on groups to survive. Being separated from the tribe could be dangerous. No tribe meant less protection, less food, and a much higher chance of becoming a very unfortunate snack for a hungry animal. So our brains evolved a warning system. Just like physical pain tells us something is wrong with our body, loneliness tells us something may be missing in our social life. In other words, loneliness is your brain's way of saying, hey, maybe go connect with some humans before we start talking to trees. And honestly, we've all had days where the tree seemed like a pretty good listener. But here's the problem. Modern life has confused our brains. Today, we can talk to hundreds of people online. We can receive likes, comments, and messages all day long. Yet loneliness is increasing around the world. Why? Because connection and contact are not the same thing. You can have thousands of followers and still feel unseen. You can receive dozens of messages and still feel misunderstood. What people really need is emotional connection. The feeling that someone genuinely understands you. And that's much harder to find than a notification. Now let's talk about something weird. Loneliness can actually change the way you think. Psychologists found that when people feel lonely for long periods, their brains become more alert to social threats. Basically, your brain starts expecting rejection. Imagine sending a text message. The other person doesn't reply for 2 hours. A relaxed brain says, they must be busy. A lonely brain says, they hate me. They're ignoring me. I should probably move to another country and start a new identity. Okay, maybe not that last one, but you get the idea. Loneliness can make us interpret situations more negatively than they really are. And this creates a vicious cycle. You feel lonely. You expect rejection. You withdraw from people. Then you become even lonelier. It's like being thirsty, but avoiding water because you're worried the water might not like you. Not the best strategy. Another surprising thing about loneliness is that it doesn't care how successful you are. There are celebrities, athletes, business leaders, and influencers who have openly talked about feeling lonely. Because success doesn't automatically create connection. Money can buy a bigger house. It cannot automatically fill an empty emotional space. And that's something many people discover far later than they expect. Now here's some good news. Loneliness is not permanent. And understanding it is the first step toward changing it. Many people try to fix loneliness by finding more people. But often, the real solution is building deeper connections with the people already around you. Sometimes, one meaningful conversation is worth more than 50 small interactions. Sometimes, telling a friend how you're actually feeling creates more connection than months of casual conversation. And sometimes, simply realizing that other people feel lonely too can be incredibly comforting. Because loneliness loves to tell us we're the only ones experiencing it. But that's rarely true. The funny thing is that while loneliness makes us feel isolated, it's actually one of the most universal human experiences.